Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of EPIC33. Hello, John. How are you doing?
Morning. I'm very tired. I was I did one of my night shifts, so I was up till 5, got a few hours sleep, missed breakfast, which I'm very mad about.
Missed breakfast.
We're here now. We're gonna watch some F1 2020.
Yeah, we've got F1 2020 to play with today. So F1 2020. First time I think we've done F1. We've done some earlier versions previously, but this is the first time we've promoted it up to being a fun tournament. And it's being sponsored by the ever fabulous Logitech G, who provided an absolutely outstanding wheel and pedal set. In fact, it's like, can we do this? Can I have this? Will it be any good for me playing things like, well, anything that I can play? What would you say, John? It's the G923 set.
You could do some trucking in it, I suppose. It'd be a bit overkill for driving a Volvo, but you know.
So is it? I'm just going to change from spectator to No, I can't. As you can see, we've actually got a large number of people, and we've actually set up 2 of the qualifying races. So we're going to have an 18-minute qualifying race. You'll be joining in this one, me with Winbar. You'll be able to see what's going on with a group of players here. You'll see some of them on screen in a moment. And a second lobby is being run. At the end of the 80-minute qualifier, we're going to double check the qualifying times and invite the top 20 into the 50% race, which will be afterwards. We're at Silverstone, aren't we? Because I know nothing about this racing. It's John that's going to be providing useful stuff. I'm going to be mostly asking questions and just pointing things out.
John's going to try to. I think last time we had a little bit of feedback that it needed some people who vaguely know what's going on to talk over it. So you've got somebody that only vaguely knows.
Excellent. No, I mean, I'm just answering my message here.
I don't play the F1 games. I will. I'll hold my hands up to that. I used to play the early series, but I haven't been doing recently, and certainly since it's gone a lot more competitive and esportsy. But I am an F1 fan. I've been to Silverstone live many times, so I do know the circuit well. I've walked around it many times. Yeah, and it is a long and windy track. So I know the circuit.
It's going to be fun for this one.
I know the F1 side, so I will try my best to talk over some of the race and give people an idea of what's going on.
Excellent. Right, well, I'm just sending a little message with my wonderful things here. I'm just going to say we will now start the qualifying, and we'll be able to have a look. We will now start. We will now see this is high tech stuff here, because that way I don't have to switch out my screen. I'm actually just sending the message on here. We will now start qualifying, please. So Davral will be doing that one there. So
how many people are in the opposite lobby?
Ooh,
so we've got 12 drivers in ours.
In your lobby, there should be roughly the same number, because we tried to split up. So you've got half and half there. All the rules for what we're actually doing and the assists and stuff that are available are in the rules on the site. So we've provided a framework so that people can join in regardless of their skill level. And I have reminded people, it ain't Mario Kart. That's later on. This is actually more fun for this one here. So it's got levels there. So I'm just waiting to get a message back to see how many we've got in that one before we press start in 1 minute's time.
From the scream I just heard in the LAN hall, then I think they've
started in the other one.
Started the other one, yeah.
Okay, so we will all ready up now, and there we go. In 2, 1, go. That's R1 starting. I'll ask them if they can give me a shout on how many. I'll let you know when I've got it there, but it should be roughly the same number because we tried to split it up like that. And I will be able to. I'm putting my controller down. I'm not driving. I'm going to be using the spectator keys on this bit here.
I'm going to try.
Glasses on at times.
That shot of the pit lane is missing a very important feature that's there in real life, by the way.
I knew we brought you here for a reason. What is it? What's it missing?
So in the middle of the pit straight, just by the pit wall, there is a random shed. It literally makes it one of the most British things you could have at an F1 race.
There is a shed on the track.
The random shed is there because when Bernie insisted that that Silverstone as a circuit built the new wing, it was all style over function, and they forgot to build somewhere for the marshals to store the flags.
Right.
So as a big up yours from the Silverstone circuit to Bernie, they literally went out and bought a garden shed and built it in the middle of the pit lane.
Absolutely outstanding. Right, so looking on this here, this is people coming out of the pit. I think I've put in, there's a small bit of ghosting at close bit, so to try and avoid critical crashes on those ones there. And the rules for cornering, for example, are, I think the rules just apply on corner cutting only to give people as much chance as possible for those bits there. But you can see how we've got in our one. Do you know, that seeing who's already out on lap, I'm quite impressed on that bit there.
Yeah, although, I mean, we're following. Who are you following at the moment? I can't see who you're following Smithy. Because my VMix thing is over. Let me tab out. I know who I'm following.
Smithy now. I'll announce who I'm following as we go, so you can see those ones there.
Let me hide. There we go. We've
got a few
VMix
people
camera
in here who do serious racing. Solar, Smithy, Marmin is serious at everything we do. We know that. Bex, Fox, and a few of the others doing it for fun. Andy Y's got his wheel with him. He's got his wheel attached to his desk in the LAN hall, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's a few. Illusions would have done if he'd remembered his power supply.
Oh my god, that's typical for that one there. Just interestingly, Zay and Brady for some reason, well, Brady's just coming out of pit now. Zay hasn't actually left at this point in time. I'm trying to see if I was anyone there.
They don't need to spend the whole 18 minutes on track. Like, everything about qualifying is getting your fastest lap. So they actually try to get some clear track and getting a good run without other people around to distract is not a bad thing.
Right, but some of the people, I mean, now everyone else, from what I can see on Discord, everyone else is actually in the FT channel, so they are talking to each other while they're racing. So some people might share that knowledge with them. I think some people thought they were racing for the full 18 minutes. So yeah, I thought that because I don't know this.
You may as well. It's certainly in the game, but you've not got things like refueling to worry about. You may as well.
View it from that bit there.
At the moment, everyone's still on their out laps, gradually emerging. So we don't have any data yet to have a look at how people are performing, but everything about modern qualifying is down to the last lap anyway.
Right.
So we're literally waiting 15 minutes and 24 seconds before we have any sort of feel for who's going to take this, and we're going to be knocking out.
Carry on, mate.
Going to be knocking out the bottom 2 from each qualifier to get us to the 20 that we can take into the race. Is that right?
That's right. We need the top 20 qualifying, the top 20 that qualify. Yes.
Okay.
Although we'll see if some of our contestants who've joined in for fun think, oh god, that's more than enough for me, which could happen. Again, with it being on the fun tournament timetable, we also award people community points for it. So with this event, what we've done is we've gone and added points on slightly more this time around. So first place overall when it comes to the full race gets 15 points, then 10 points for second place, 7 for third place, and then 5 points for everyone else who participated. So taking part in the fun tournaments can add up a lot towards
little spin there.
Oh, I saw a spin
Andy
there.
Y going for a spin?
We seem to have some qualifying numbers coming in now on my view here.
So Marmin's currently up there with the fastest lap, just 1:29.3. Smithy not far behind, like 0.7 behind, and then we don't really need to talk about the others yet. They're like 3 or 8 seconds behind, but Andy Y did have that little spin. A few more times coming in. Bex 15 seconds behind. So what could be useful, Reech, on your timing screen? You can set it so that it shows the difference between the leader. So rather than giving everybody's absolute time, it gives us a better picture. So if you go into your spectator menu, and show the gap to the leader.
There we go.
There we go.
See, I have looked. I've got my ready reckoner here. I am trying to be as prepared as possible on an unfamiliar thing. I must admit, with the sport for this, when it comes to watching sports, I'm useless. But one thing my family have
This
always been
doesn't
very
count
interested
though.
in is
Well, it does, but
motorsports. My uncle, Reg Fordington, actually worked with Sterling Moss. He used to own the chain of Fordington garages up in the north of England. So he actually was involved in certain engine design and stuff before he opened up a car garage. But I, as a 12-year-old, more interested in He-Man. No comments. Okay, Masters of the Universe. I didn't get into the racing. It's something that really upsets me that I never actually said to him, "Look, I want to see all these things that you can do." But yeah. But you actually have you been to races? You have, haven't you?
Yeah. I had a bit of a sort of on and off thing with F1. Like, as a child, it was one of those Sunday afternoon with family. Everybody has it on TV, and then I went off it for a few years, and then came back probably maybe about 10 or so years ago, and had a few years of being really heavily into it, like literally watching every session of every race.
Yeah.
And then I have to say, when the whole Sky TV moving away from BBC thing happened, it put me off a little bit. So these days, we're in an area where it's been dominated by, or until this season, it was being dominated by a particular team. So it did just get a bit boring. So I went off it for a while. But yeah, as an EPIC.LAN community, we've done Silverstone a few times. So we've like got in for the whole camping festival thing, stayed there for the whole week. We used to literally set up a little village within the camping area with like a huge marquee in the middle and all of our tents coming off it and barbecues every night. And yeah, so we did it properly. Power TVs so we could go back to the tent at night and watch the race that we just watched on track.
For someone like, why do you do that? But then again, I rewatch films. For someone like me, I can see. I actually tried playing ACC a while back, and the simulation racing I find very difficult because obviously I'm used to kart racing, so I'm just flat out, and that doesn't work, of course. There's a whole lot of skill in when you turn, how you turn, the speed you go at all the areas there. I'd have thought, and like I said, I'd have thought, well, hang on, if it's so prescribed and all it is that, then how can anyone ever do any better? But that's all down to the cars, isn't it? The engines, the chassis design, and the behaviours.
Yeah, I mean, we can't put it all down to the car. Yeah, it's a huge part of it, and the amount of money that each team has is a massive factor in it. But even when you've got two drivers in an identical car, we're seeing performance differences. We look at Mercedes at the moment with Hamilton and Bottas just isn't there. So yeah, but in the game, everybody's on an identical car, and there are other race series where the entire car series is. Can't remember that. Homogenized? Is that the word?
That's a good word. That's a good word.
It's like Formula E, for example. The cars are much closer together, whereas F1, there are rules. There are some common components across the cars. So, for example, McLaren, who one of the teams in F1, their technology division provides a lot of the parts for other cars. As a separate part of the company. But yeah, there is license for some things, and every year teams start pushing the rules a little bit to try and innovate and bring in new tech where they can. Like there's the whole current scandal of Red Bull with a wing that appears to be a little bit more flexible than it should be, but they're managing to prove it in tests. And then we had in Baku a few weeks ago, teams may be pushing the limit with tyre temperatures and pressures. So yeah, there's lots that can be done to the car as well. There's lots that
can affect it from that bit there. I was saying the way that we've set this one up, you can do a lot of tuning, you can do a lot of tweaking in F1 2020. Obviously, we've got people who've only just got the game the last few days ago to jump in and play as part of it being this fun tournament. So we set it as multiplayer car, so it kind of spreads out the bit on that bit there, and put certain assists on and limited other assists so that starter players have a few extra things they can do, but more experienced players can turn them off. Because for me, as a starter, it's like, why would you not want that? Why would you not want that assist to help you? But it's because if you know how the thing behaves, you can. It's not trick, isn't it? It's actually using the car's abilities to their best best power. Is that right?
Yeah, whereas if you whack all of the assists on full for a new player, it's designed to keep you on the track, but you're not going to get the fastest lap. You're not going to be able to push the limits like you can when you start moving away and going. It's a bit like, I guess an analogy would be photography. And that anybody can pick up a camera and stick it on automatic and you'll probably get an okay photograph out of it. But as you start moving further and further away from automatic towards manual, you can be far more creative and get some far more interesting shots. So similar with this.
Well, that's the thing that got me. I mean, you've seen the difference that we can do in the abilities that people have while playing. It's actually just a level beyond. Anyone can pick up a game and play it. The simulators tend to scare people away because that's what they're there for. They are simulators. But I was surprised when we were doing the testing on this that I didn't go up in flames within the first 15 seconds, which everyone was predicting when I was testing it out.
I love the detail on this. You go around, you see the
you can
big wheel, the Ferris wheel in the background.
Real place. So you can recognise what they've done for the layouts.
Even putting stuff like that in, like that's something that's brought into one of the campsites, but you can see it from all around the track. So.
Excellent. Just looking at the qualifying so far that we've got here, we've got a mix of people who've come from all over places. There's a couple of people who've been eliminated from their esports tournaments that's jumped in. Actually, Zay is with Blackout, but wasn't actually playing in any of the games there. So they came up as some people playing CSGO. And Brady?
Buck is also one of the Blackout gaming guys. Brady as well, yeah.
So you've got some people who've done that. Have you ever considered doing car simulator racing at EPIC.LAN as an esports tournament, John?
Yes, we've considered it. No, it's Dupes is asking me what I want from Mackey's.
Very important thing. So let me just have a little look through here while John gets the order. We've got to keep the troops on site. This is the current times that we've got.
Nuggies and chips.
Nuggies. How old are you? Nuggies and chips.
Nuggies and chips. I've not had breakfast, and I don't feel like burger because this lot will meme the heck out of me if I have a burger.
Yeah, we're not having any more shouts for Berber. Oh God, I've done it now while I'm here as well. Community manager being subverted. I don't want to have any more things for that bit there. We've got about another 6 minutes of qualifying left. Sorry, I was saying before you had your food order. Esports or simulator racing esports at Epic. Thoughts?
Yeah, we've thought about it, and we were vaguely considering it before lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's been a huge rise of racing games, in particular F1. I mean, F1's not the sort of pinnacle of the detailed racing scene, but it's probably the most commercial and most well known, especially because F1 went esports during lockdown. Like when all the races got cancelled, we were seeing official F1 esports races with some of the actual drivers. Were they using this, or were they using other games for that? Were they actually using the F1 2020 game, or were they using professional style simulator? No, because F1 as a brand had an F1 esports series that was held down at the Gfinity, was run by Gfinity. Because we don't mind saying the names of other TOs on our events because they exist.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
no, it's interesting seeing that way. I mean, when people say, "Why would you waste your time playing?" Like when people say, "Oh, why play FIFA on your computer when you could play a real one?" Well, you watch FIFA you watch football as a game. You can play it as a game. This is like taking esports to sports and trying to bring the skills alongside it. There's different skills involved, surely, but again, it's all sport.
Let's face it, you're only going to get the 20 or so best drivers in the world ever sitting in an F1 car. Most of us minions are never going to get the opportunity to do it. So if this brings us a little bit closer to that,
why not? Why not? Absolutely. Oh, that's brilliant. So look at that in the. Oh, carry on, John.
I was just going to say, taking a quick rundown of the time, because we've got like 4 minutes left on this this session. So Zay's up there with a 1 minute 26.4 at the moment, and it looks like he's going to try and get another run in. He's just on his outlap at the moment. Book 20 is. You have
Let's
to think
change it over to the gap for you now, so you can look at the gap from those based on.
I've got it on my screen as well. Book 20 is 0.09 of a second behind Zay. That's an amount of time that we could barely even see with our eyes. Then there's a bit of a gap between the next. We've got about a 2-second gap to the next block of Marmin, Lindy, Andy Y, Mr. Fox, Parasmithy and Brady, and Solaris Fire and DMC. So they're all in a sort of 2 to 4 second gap behind. And then we've got Bex, and then I think Cyberdrak is still racing in Baku and hasn't actually made it to Silverstone yet, as he's nearly 30 seconds behind at the moment.
Look, I think I'm enjoying us all when Bex and Cyberdrak have said, A, they're playing for fun points, and they're more than happy that they got there. I think I'm going to have to award poor Charlesworth Sock.
Actually,
he was stuck in spectator mode, so I was unable to enter the qualifying in Davral's game. So I think as a level of fail, I will award him an Intel Sock for that one there. So I'll catch up with him later on.
In the other game, by the way, we do have our Intel representative playing. So Broomy is in the other game. So we'll get to see how he's doing when we assuming he qualifies. But he does like his racing games. I'm pretty sure he does have a wheel set up at home.
Okay. Is it Broomy who's in our retro videos later?
No, that's another Intel
one.
Mark.
Different Intel person. Sorry, Mark. I'm being Mark blind. My apologies.
But I've been told that the retro videos come out really, really well. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
I like my old games being old. I actually want to watch them first before even approaching with a future event to talk to him about it, because I reckon I think I know stuff about retro stuff, but from what I've been told and what I've been leaked about this here, I know nothing, Jon Snow.
And he has some pretty rare bits of kit as well.
Fantastic. For me, it's mostly the playing of the game, so I've got some nice retro compilations from the Evercade that I've used for that bit there. We're on to the last 1 minute 15 seconds or so on mine, and similar timing on Davral's. So we'll soon be able to have a little. You'll probably have John having a chat while I re-invite people who are the qualifiers. So I've just got to cast my eyes over that between the two games in a moment. But here you go. That's still that 0.91.
I think he's pitted us, so don't think he's going to go for a run. Still looks like Buck is trying to beat him. He's on an outlap, but I'm gonna watch Buck. Where is he on the track? Is he going to get over the line? Yeah, he is. So Buck's over the line in time to start a full lap. So even though there's only 45 seconds left, as long as you've crossed that start line, you can complete your qualifying lap. So I think he's going to go for it. So I'm going to follow. Are you following Buck as well? Yeah,
I'm following Buck as well now. Yes.
So it's currently going around the new bit of the circuit, even though it was built about 10 years ago. Which is where they have all like the fan zone, and it's like the arena section.
Right,
and then this is back into the slightly older circuit.
Slightly older what?
A slightly older part of the circuit. This is the old pit lane that he's coming up to now. And then he's going to hit a corner soon. Sorry, go on.
No, carry on. I'll ask you that question. I'll ask you that question in the main game.
That corner there that he just went round, Cops.
Yeah.
You can stand on that corner when you're at Silverstone, looking straight down as they hit the corner and they come round to the right. Often taking that at near full speed and just watching the grip on a car hitting that corner. I know it sounds a bit crofty-like, but it is literally like they're on rails as they hit that corner.
Right. And you can see, from what you said to me there as well, yes, Buck is definitely going for it to try and get the things there. Oh, brilliant. Dav's group has finished, so he's got his finish times. So I'm going to...
Well, did he do it? He did it as well. 1 minute 26.3 in the final lap. And I don't think anyone's going to come close to that.
That's 0.39, no. Unless Marr does something with rockets.
No, there was just a crash in the pit lane. Dave Marr just got rear-ended in the pit lane. I don't know who that was.
Excellent.
I missed who hit him. Who's behind Dave in the pit lane?
Let me just go over here. I wasn't watching at the time because I had it on Buck from that one there.
I think it was Solaris Fire.
Solar or Smithy are nearby.
I can't see if he's missing a big chunk of front wing. Wasn't Smithy.
Right.
Smithy's just crossed the line. Doesn't really improve. He's still 3.6 seconds behind. I think. Yeah, he's coming round to the pit now. So there's no more lap times to come in.
Excellent. I've got my picture for that one there. Oh, and I've got it on this one here as well. Okay, so I'm just going to take a couple of moments just to compare details from these two. So my apologies to my colleagues. I'm just going to keep an eye. If the screen goes black, it's because I've tabbed out from that one there, but it'll only be the game stuff from that one there. I should have tested that bit a moment ago. I'm just going to pop over here. No, it's still showing. Oh, no, it is going out. So we might need to just move on to us faces. There we go. So I need to get this up in Discord so I can see what's going for the next bit there. How often do the tracks change, John? Do you see anything like
Not very.
Do they change, or are they stay as they are for a long time?
Not very, because it's pretty expensive to change them. There are a few circuits. There are a few circuits that have multiple configurations already built in, and so what we saw last year with Lockdown is they repeated the race twice at most of the circuits to save moving teams around the world as much and keep people bubbled and quarantined. So we saw things like alternative track layouts that were already there, so didn't really need any reconfiguration. There was discussion, I don't think it happened in the end, there was discussion about doing one of the races backwards, so exactly the same track, but then reversing it, but I don't think they did that in the end. I know it was an idea that was thrown out there. But yeah, it's not a cheap thing to change because there's so much infrastructure in place. Like obviously, in Silverstone's case, as we see on the screen, like the pit lane is there. It has to stay there, and that was built about 10 years ago at huge expense, almost bankrupt the circuit. But they were threatened with Donington Park, so they nearly had their license taken away. Unless they improved the facilities at Silverstone, and then turns out that Donington had a massive hole in the track anyway and couldn't actually host the race even if they wanted to. So yeah, it's not like every year you go back and there's a fundamental change. There's little tweaks. So sometimes the angles of corners will be changed. There'll be a bit of extra runoff, and just like where some of the tracks are a little bit boring, they will try to improve that. Oh, hello. Are we starting?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, shouldn't have started at that point in time. I'm just going to send a message to that bit there. Sorry, that's my apologies.
It's a good job because I just saw an interesting start. If that was the actual start,
I'm just sending a message saying that race will need to be quit out of. So because I'm just adding the things there for that one there. Can all people retire from that race and wait for new invite? There we go. We set it up on the original setting, and then I will just bring that in here. So I am recording the numbers we've got from here. So we have Buck 20, Zay, Marmin, Lindy, Andy Y, the Mr. Fox, Brady, Solar is Fire, Hours of Smithy.
Tom Shoot's video felt bad that Dupes didn't have a sub to the channel, so he's gifted him a sub. Yeah, I mean, Donington tried to upgrade. They were given the contract, but it was classic Bernie at the time, who obviously not involved these days. It was pure brinksmanship. Nobody ever thought it was actually going to go there. The facilities compared to the rebuilt Silverstone were miles apart. They didn't even have the infrastructure for the Reech hospitality. There's no way they could have had like champagne breakfasts in the facilities that existed at Donington. And yeah, there was a fundamental issue with the track as well. It wasn't finished. There's a huge hole in it.
In the other race, I'm just going to go through what the finishing positions were there because obviously people didn't see it. So the finishing laps, the fastest lap was actually Dr. Bubbly Biscuit with 127.481. So that was just a fraction longer than our buck from our game there. So that was pretty impressive. So I'm just taking.
Do I need to leave this game? Or are you making a new one?
I'll be making a new one in a moment, yeah. So go back out of that one. I'll re-invite people in. I'm just doing the last lot of sorting out the differences in times. So we have ended up with, we've just got a final place. Unfortunately, Kindred's one died halfway through, so he didn't get a qualifying lap at all, unfortunately. And like I said, Charles had misfortune earlier on. I've got Elsie at 143, and I'm just checking. He might grab the last place, but it does depend on what's in this other one that I captured here. Elsie at 143. Oh my word. I was catching my picture there. Elsie was 143.327, but that wasn't quick enough to beat Bex. So Bex gets the 20th position. So she might not take it up because I think she was only just in on that bit there. The people that were eliminated were Kindred Phantom. He had a disaster during it, didn't finish first lap. Charles Worth stayed in spectator mode, wasn't able to qualify there. Elsie was 143.327. Cyberdrak was 154.058. So the slowest laps throughout was only Bex at 136.625. The nearest one to her was 131.975, which was Prog. So I am going to start inviting this group of people into new game. Okay, so I'm going to send a note there. If you can all quit your games, I am going to invite the top 20 into the game. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to put the list that I've got over here into channel there.
Don't forget to add me back.
I will add you back too, yes. So let me go in here. We'll get my stuff back on screen in a moment, and I'll be able to add these people in. There we go. So I'm just going to go. So on my screen, I'm just messing things up for production. They're tearing their hair out with me alt tabbing for things here. Right, so there we are. Here's my lobby for this one here. I'm going to go on and load. There we are. We've got Silverstone. We've got the same settings there. I need to go and invite John as spectator.
They're off with the clapping again.
Ooh. Here we go. Right, so John's got his invite there. I just need to temporarily
make sure I do go to spectator, otherwise.
Yes, no racing for you, sir. I need to go out to spectator because I need to load the setup that we have in rules, which was race only, no qualify. Want to load it, so it's F2, race only, no qualify. There we go. Just to let people know as well, for sake of it being a fun tournament, and I've actually got people to be starting grid random. Obviously, if this was a full thing, your qualifying would dictate your starting space for that one there. But this is so that I can actually get things up and running slightly quicker than that bit there. So I'm just going to go through. I've got my little list to one side with people's names on, so I can start inviting them to the game. So here we are. F1, let us invite Buck 20, Zay, Marmin, Lindy. I'm going to add Lindy's one on that one there. Oh, my screen is doing funny things on this one here. My apologies, everyone.
I've got a horrible feeling about this start.
It's going to be interesting. I've got Lindy there. I've got Andy Y to bring in. I've got the Mr. Fox to bring in. Where is he? The Mr. Fox. I've got Brady to bring in. Can't see Brady's one, so I'll check
and
in a
see
moment. I've got
an argument
Solaris.
in Twitch chat about Kachow versus Kachu.
Kachow versus Kachu.
Yeah.
Solaris and
important
Smithy.
detail.
DMC. And I've got Dr. Bubbly Biscuit. There he is. That Bloke and Davral. That Bloke and Davral. Magico and Broomy.
Hyde should tell us which one it should be. He did just lean round and say it's Kachu.
Magico and Broomy. I can't see Magico on that one there, so I'm asking to send my code in the moment. Paddy is in, so Paddy is there.
I think the Nuggies have arrived as well.
Ooh, you'll be able to nuggy on this first part of this. Jin is also in. Prog Spawn.
Louis 2K's flaming me in chat as well.
Oh no. Okay, so I'm just going to send a message there.
I'm here as the colour commentator. Reech is the real pro.
So don't ready up yet. I'm the real pro. I'm the one pressing buttons. I'm not pro anything. Me. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna add
one missing
as well.
Yeah, we've got 19 out of 22.
Yeah, almost there. Magico.
Yes, you can see Parasmithy, Buck, Davral, Paddy, 2002 Renault Clio, Zay, you and me spectating, Prog, that bloke, Andy Y, Solaris Fire, DMC, Broomy, Marmin, Dr. Bubbly Biscuit, the Mr. Fox, Bexamondo, and Jin. And then somebody else, I guess, just joined or left. No, we should have the full 22 people in, shouldn't we?
Let me just check on here. I'm just seeing what's going on with my numbers for that one there.
I'm sure people won't object if I eat a nuggie while I'm talking.
Right, I believe I'm just after. Where is that one? It's not showing me people in game. There's Magico. And
21 out of 22
should be Lindy.
So we've got quite a big Blackout Gaming contingent.
Absolutely.
In here. Magico is one of the StarCraft players, StarCraft regulars at LAN as well. Plenty of Council of Memes / Team Lakeside.
I'm just giving a final check to see if is that all from list.
I think we should have 22 in the lobby, shouldn't we, with us two?
It's 20 drivers.
And then us two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're missing one person.
I'm just waiting. Someone's had connection problems. So I'm going to give them another minute just to jump back in.
Vex is reloading. Okay.
Yeah. Just waiting on that one there.
The real commentators have appeared in chat now. The esports professionals.
Right, so we'll just wait a couple of minutes before we start up this one here.
This needs like a proper live timing screen.
Yeah, where you can actually see a full to be honest, I think you've seen it when you've seen it on the channels that do it, like other ones like this. My apologies to comms. I'm just throwing screens around so I can actually see the Twitch chat
Did
this time round.
Yeah, I wonder
There
if
we
it's
go.
some sort of. Oh, it was a big box of nuggies. Thank you, dudes.
Wow.
The only way to do it is 20 nuggies.
The amount of nuggies in this person. Right, so do we have everyone in?
Thank you. I can just have one sauce. I have, look.
Cool.
Wow.
Let's wait for that one there. We're just waiting for Bex to rejoin.
This is breakfast and lunch. Because I got up way too late. Nearly there.
Yeah, Buck's saying, "Oh, when you do that killer placement and then get random placement in the game." I said, "Oh, Buck, I'm so sorry." He said, "It's a fun race. Just hoping I can avoid any maze. Is that maze pins or maze spins? What does that relate to?"
Mazza Spin. He's a very popular current driver.
Okay.
Russian house driver.
Am I inviting story time?
No. I'm pretty sure there's a website out there of has Mazza spun yet. He's he don't want to get too political, but he has some interesting views on life and equality. And yeah, but the first few races of the season, you were almost guaranteed to get a spin from him.
Excellent. I was checking my channel there. Everyone in looks like.
22?
Please ready up. Yeah, please ready up.
Excellent. So I assume because we have merged people from two different races, the qualifying was literally just to make it into this, so it's not going to
make it into
them.
this. Yeah, my original plan was to have enough for that bit there, and I greatly overestimated the number of people that actually want to join in, both for the fantastic prize and to level of fun. But thanks everyone for patience for this bit here as well. But
it's a good thing for this many people taking part in a fun tournament. So
and it makes it. We can look at how we can use this in future as well for tournaments.
If we know that we're going to get this many people next time, then we can plan it with multiple qualifying sessions and different elimination stages, perhaps. But then it would be nice to do a proper qualifying into a race so that your qualifying position
absolutely. Well, I could have done you can do custom grid, and I could have put the times in, but I think that would take longer than I even took to actually sort out the bit there. So I will research that for next time. This game and structure is new to me as well, so.
There's the Mazza Spin link, and there's questions over whether he's actually in his seat for skill reasons or financial reasons. Nothing to do with who's got stakes in the team.
I don't know all this. Good grief. The amount of knowledge that goes into these things. But then again, in the similar way to, I know nothing about sports entertainment or wrestling or football, really. I believe there's a little match going on tonight. Some people of the Tenacity say they're not turning up to my party if there's a football match going on. I think that's dreadful.
So
let's have a look.
We're still waiting for players. Okay. Are we going to have a clean start? I'm not convinced that we will. There's a lot of weaving. Now I can see parts flying all over the place at the back already. Okay, first corner's not too bad.
What does
I think somebody's
mean?
lost.
Frog Spawn is showing as interval. So.
Yeah, he's just ahead at the moment.
Cool.
Okay, that start could have gone much worse. Like we definitely saw some carbon flying around at the start and a few scrappy first corners, but I don't think anybody's completely out. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Paddy,
that was
for
a bit
some
of
reason,
going down the wrong way.
Yeah, Paddy for some reason's down in 20th and is about 14 seconds behind. So I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he was the victim of that first crash. As we come past the original pit lane. So Ivan's pushed up ahead. Buck's only 0.1 seconds behind.
There you are. I'm better off on the keyboards on this one here, actually, to be honest. Let me take my spectator menu away for that one there as well. Excellent.
Still pretty bunched together.
What does interval mean? Sorry, John. Did you start to explain? Is it just a holding thing?
But just because Buck's now at the top, so we're looking at the gap between.
Of course, I'm looking at the gap, aren't I? Yeah.
Yeah,
got it.
exactly.
If I do that, it shows me that there. See, I don't know these things. It comes up with a. Sorry, I'm sounding like a little excitable. It comes up with that fastest lap, Buck 20, in the bottom of the corner there, so you can get a readout of the things.
It is the fastest lap, but it's the fastest lap of one lap. So at this stage, it doesn't count for too much. That was a bit of a cheeky break there from Prog Spawn. Oh, and again, some more carbon flying around in the background.
We did set it as reduced damage, so it's not full up-to-daisy you blow up. And again, I did explain to people we're not playing Mario Kart at this point in time, so people are taking it honestly and probably seriously. Any crashes you see will more likely than not be due to lack of skill rather than maliciousness.
Yeah, we've currently got Jin and Paddy have been in the pits. Paddy's okay. He's got a really slow stop going on at the moment, so I'm assuming it was his wing that got destroyed.
Right, and then Jin has just come out on that bit there as well, but they are well behind.
Jin's dropped about 35 seconds. I don't know if that was tyres or something else. We missed the pit stop, but
yeah. Oh, it comes up with insights on a predicted pit stop strategy. What does this mean? When it shows you a little, it showed me a little graphics. That probably means more to people who watch F1 properly, but. Is there stats for going in pit stop? Obviously, you need to minimise your time. Do you get penalties for being in pit stops? Should you do something specifically?
No,
when you go in?
You have to. So as part of the way of not artificially inducing excitement into the race, the tyres are designed to have a lifespan to them. The tyres will not get you to the end of an F1 race, and that is by design.
That is by design. There has to be at least a pit stop to sort those out.
Contractually, Pirelli have to design tyres that wear during the race. So you have to make at least one mandatory pit stop and use a different set of tyres. Obviously, if something goes wrong, you come in more often. But the graphic that was on screen was based on the tyres that they started with and the current wear and the conditions of the track, which obviously has been kept as clear and dry. Then we're suspecting that the cars are going to start coming into pit for tyres around a lap 11 to 14. But as we've already seen, two people have already got the big spin then.
Yeah, I saw a big spin on that one there. Sorry, I didn't see who it was. I'm just paging through. Back down to Brady on that one there. I am seeing some interesting Twitch. There's an awful lot of support going on in Twitch chat. You're all really fantastic. We've got spam this so John will notice me, but that's just Kurt and Winnie and Data. And Sam's joined in with that one there. However, while Darby is actually cheering on Jim there, and also Mighty Cod, spam this Brie to help DMC. That's not a Brie. I know my cheese. Actually, we should have Duty Hero here if we're talking cheese. So
you'll summon him to the chat if you're not careful.
Buck seems to be doing pretty well. He's not reached the lofty heights of there, but obviously there's more people closer together. So he's obviously got to take some medication, but he's still a good full second ahead in a bit.
Yeah,
how far
we've
ahead?
Still got somebody's wing end plates on the track as well. Now, if this were a real race, it would probably get at least a safety car to get that cleaned up. Yeah. Because we are talking carbon fibre here, so that will go through the tyres. Somebody almost just missed the pit lane entrance, Brady.
Yes.
Nearly clipped the wall on the way in.
I did set the things up for cleaning, for safety car on that one there as well, so it should take it, but
it depends. It might be deemed to be safe enough to continue.
And so the rule thing for the reduced damage will keep people going longer.
Just taking a look at Buck, he's pulling quite a lead now, so he's 6 seconds ahead of the next driver, which is Illusions. Yeah, and Buck started in 5th, so he had a good start. He's made it up from 5th. Interestingly, Zay. Sorry.
No, sorry. I'm getting excited because I'm asking you all the questions about it. You're providing the actual commentary. Go for it.
Interestingly, Zay has made up 15 positions since the start and is currently sitting there in 3rd place. On the opposite end of the scale, Mr. Fox down there in 14th has dropped 12 positions since the start. So
when I look at this thing here, if I look at this layout, I'm seeing Buck lap 139.81 and then Ivan 133052, but the gap is 9 seconds. Is that because that was their fastest recorded lap, and that's showing? And when I see the difference, it's what they are now.
You're getting mixture of sort of live time.
I don't know these stats, right?
And laps. Also, you've got other things you can switch on. As well. So you've got some telemetry you can switch on.
Telemetry. What's telemetry when it comes to this? Again, this is new to me. Oh, there we are.
Switch that on. Throw the lap data on as well, and that'll give us a little window top right to show the current sector time as well. So the telemetry,
the trap map as well. I'll do that there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited.
So the telemetry window is literally showing us the gear that the car's currently in, the engine
mode
one
that it's in. So at the moment I'm looking at Buck, and that's what his dash is doing for him at the moment. Do they have a dash in these things?
Different engine modes. He's really pushing. He's pushing his engine, but that's probably going to be fine for a 50% race. He's using his overtake mode a lot, which is like a go faster button. And imagine eating a mushroom in Mario Kart, but he's using that constantly.
I can't believe. Do you know? I thought I was going to be the one who was going to liken something to Mario Kart at this point. But the F1 fan doing it, I feel redeemed on this one here. There's nothing I can say that is wrong now.
I'm trying to give an analogy, but yeah, we're getting
Thank you. It helps me understand it.
We're getting his live speeds there. We can see him deploying things like his ERS. We can see his braking. We can see his engine revs, and you compare the RPM to your normal road car, and you just like, how on earth do these engines? But that's why these engines last through. Yeah, but these engines last for a few races, and then
viewing zone now.
Now, that's been getting better over the years because more and more penalties have been put in for changing engines. But there was a point in time where F1 was getting so expensive because every race, just chuck a new engine in it.
Again, all sport, it's like we said during the qualifying bit when I was asking you what it means and how you can actually get any better. Surely there's a limit. Are we near approaching that, or is there new stuff there? I'll put you on to DMC.
DMC's getting a black and white flag, so he needs to watch out, otherwise he's going to get in trouble with the stewards. So there's unfortunately no replays, so we can't see what he's getting what he's getting that flag for.
Again, I believe the rule restriction was just cost cutting, corner cutting, not cost cutting. Actually, on the cost cutting part, on that bit there, we'd said about how the technology works for these here. Is there a limit? Is there going to ever be a time where you cannot get any faster? I mean, it might sound like a silly question. It's like, can you kick a football or hit a cricket ball any harder? But is there ever going to be a point where you think that's the limit?
I don't know. I mean, the tracks would potentially need to evolve to allow that to happen. Technology is always going to be pushed. The interesting dilemma that F1 has at the moment is trying to balance the speed and the technology with the environmental concerns. If you look at, F1 is not exactly the most environmentally friendly sport. Not only what's going on track and the sheer amount of fuel, the rubber that they're using, all of the components, but moving the logistics of F1 around the world every week doesn't have a great carbon footprint. So there's efforts to minimise that, but at the same time innovate, speed, spectate, get the noise back. So, for example, one of the measures to make it more environmentally friendly a few years ago had a huge impact on the sound of the engine. And fans hated it, so you've got to find that balance between what the fans actually want to watch.
I suppose if you've got the car whisper quiet when you're watching, you don't get that sensation of this machine is really pushing the limits. If it isn't sounding like that.
First time I went to a race, as you go in, everybody's given ear defenders. There's warning signs everywhere about having to, about wearing ear protection. And we were sat on, I think it was Luffield. And just for a moment, as the cars were coming past at the start, took our earplugs out, and it physically hurt. That's how loud it was when you get all of those cars coming past at once. Then the new engines came in, sat there for the entire race without any sort of ear defenders on, could have a conversation with the person sitting next to me.
So just testing that, and Mighty Cod has thrown in saying, theoretically there is a limit, but we're pushing the tech for a long, long time, and the goalpost constantly moves. So that, like you say, the bits to do with the actual other things that I didn't think about, like the safety of the cars, and as you said, the environmental impacts. I hate to be the one to be slapped by buck fringe, but that wouldn't have gone through my head. But obviously, it's a huge thing.
It is. It's like the safety side. If the cars are going faster, then you need bigger runoff areas.
Yeah.
You need better spectator fencing. We saw in a couple of other series last year,
yes.
cars literally being launched up into the barriers. So that sort of side's got to come into it as well.
Yeah. I mean, with cricket, you've got to worry about a ball coming at your face at that amount of speed. When you've got a hunk of metal travelling at 184 miles that's the size of several people, there's going to be a whole lot more danger on that one there, not just for the person who's in there. So, yes. Good grief. I must admit, just sitting here watching this, properly seriously, I know I've watched a few things like people like Solar and Davral and others who do this type of racing or iRacing, and I've watched them there and just kept an eye on it as they're playing and jumping in ACC. I've thought, yeah, I can see what they're doing, but I'm actually really enjoying. And you know, it's fascinating for me as well. It's the stats things that you asked me to bring up. I can actually see the effect that what this level of driving is. It isn't just a level of go fast. You're not just steering or holding down the pedal. You're managing the systems of the car as you're driving, and that happens in the physical game, in the physical sport for it.
Well, if you just change so if you just bring up your spectator menu again and change the camera type, instead of broadcast, just drop that down to TV pod for a second.
Yep. I can see their panels.
Yeah. So, we struggle sometimes dealing with enough, keys on a keyboard or a simple Xbox or PlayStation controller. Look at the detail on the steering wheel and the sheer number of buttons and screens and dials that they're having to manage. And these aren't just things that you change
at over 150 miles per hour.
Yeah, but
How
some
can
of these
you do that?
Some of these things are changed every corner. Like, this isn't something that you change once or twice during the race. You'll see them constantly operating those buttons. It's not just the ones we can see on the front as well. They're a load behind the wheel. So there are all sorts of paddles and dials.
I'm getting spam this peach to startle Reech.
I'm down with that. We'll do that.
Thank you. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You know, for a second there, I saw Data Lives doing that, and for a moment I thought it was Davral. He's driving. He can't possibly spam this peach. Oh, you're doing it
maybe
too.
Maybe it's a shortcut on his steering wheel. Who knows?
Yeah, you can do it. Oh, I can say you can actually. How should we? If we were to do an sponsor an EPIC.LAN F1 car, could we outfit it with a stream deck?
We couldn't afford it. we could absolutely not afford it. So yeah, just saw it just coming up there, a tiny little adjustment that was made. Yeah. So you see, at speed, take one hand off the wheel to press a button or adjust the dial and then put it back on again. Not only that, at the same time, they've got the race engineers talking to them.
Yep.
As they're going around the track, they'll be looking at the TV monitors, the braking boards, the timing screens, the pit boards. God. So you've got that going on.
So they can measure when is best for them to come in. Yeah. And they've got to do all the calculations to measure how they're doing it.
Yeah. And then there's some bodily functions to worry about as well. They're in these cars for a decent amount of time, sometimes in really hot countries, so they have to drink.
Yep.
So there's a button on there for them to press to take a drink.
Okay.
And then it gets pumped to them in a tube in their helmet.
Like a spacesuit. Oh my god. I just didn't know this.
There's then all of the discussions around what certain drivers do if they drink too much during the race as well. And there are some...
Let's not go into Eurogate here.
Well, there are some renowned drivers in history who just go there and then in the car, because when you've got to go, you've got to go.
It's absolutely a sacrifice one makes for the sport. You're not endorsing that type of behaviour in CSGO, Valorant or StarCraft 2, are you, though?
No, it's not something I'd like to see teams starting to do in the arena at LAN.
We'll not take that across, then, thank you.
You can't just pull over and go for a pee.
Yeah, someone did not entirely jokingly say, is there a pause halfway through for a toilet break? And there was a rather set of uncomfortable laughter on the briefing. I think that's because they were discussing what you've just told me about there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes. Oh.
Okay,
carry on. You go first.
Coming up to lap 11. and already we've got two that've got in the pit. There was Lindy and I think it was Zay that just dropped into the pit. So this is the point now where we're going to start seeing the cars coming in for a fresh set of boots.
Right. Fresh set of boots, you're using the technical terms.
When they do that, they're going to have to get them warmed back up again, but they will suddenly have a level of grip that they didn't have after 11 laps on the old tyres.
Got it.
We'll see people tactically overtaken as well, so trying to time when they go into the pits. You'll often hear when you're listening to live races about people talking about the undercut, where they use that pit stop window to get ahead. Who are you watching at the moment? You're on...
I'm on Brady just now. I was just having a look, because there was a big dip. I'm assuming that's a pit. You must have had a stop.
I'm currently watching Buck, who's in the lead, and he's trying to get past Jin, who's now a back marker. He's lapped Jin, essentially. And Jin was getting a little bit in the way, though. I'm not sure if he realised that he'd got Buck coming up behind him. But Buck's now pulled away to a 16-second lead. Who's on the current fastest lap is Zay still with a 1 minute 35.
Okay.
And he's just moved up to 4th place. And now you can see a huge chunk in the pit lane. So you've got Marmin, Andy Y, Prug Spawn, Magico, that bloke and Solaris 5. So the pit lane might be worth taking a look down at the pit lane just to see
I'll have a look there.
How hectic it is.
So you've got Marmin's one there. There you go. We've got Andy Y being... Oh, Andy Y's just escaped out of pit there. I think there was a brief bump there.
Got 3 all coming in at once. I think, again, a couple of slow stops.
Yeah, I was having a look through these here. Is Magico just leaving now? Spawn coming out. That bloke in there now. Solar's just on his way out there. Has Buck been in the pit just yet?
Let's take a look.
I don't think
so. I
so.
don't know if it will. Does it
will
tell
it show
us?
me? Is there some? Let me just have a quick look on my stats here.
It's not. So you can change your. You can change your detail to stops, and this will tell us who's now come in. So everybody apart from Buck and Illusions. So Bubbly Biscuit's in now. So Buck, I'm going to guess, is trying to build up enough of a lead to get his pit stop without it affecting his position.
Right.
So he's done 12 laps on that tyre, so that is definitely going to be ready to come in. Illusions has done 12 laps on his, and his is the softer tyre as well. So I would have thought Illusions, there's 2002 Renault Clio, is going to be struggling. There we go, he's coming into the pits now.
Cool. Illusions in there now. So looking at them, I can see on the little map that I've put on, this should be...
Let's stick with Buck, because hopefully he's going to come in.
Which sector is the pits in?
Back at the start in one, or the end of 3 and into 1.
I can see. Brilliant. I can see.
So is he going to pit on this lap?
It'll be a risk of going what you're saying, because the fact that the others have gone there, he's obviously pushed
it a little way
He's
stayed
past.
Out.
Wow.
Okay.
That could be a gamble from that one there, you're reckoning.
So he's managed to push these to halfway. It could pay off. What's his gap now? I think he's got time to come in for his stop. He's got a 37.4 second lead.
Yeah, on Zay.
So as long as the pit stop goes okay, he doesn't clip the wall on the way in, he's got time to get in and through that pit lane without losing any time. And I think that was probably his plan.
To build up
you're gonna
at the
lose,
start.
Yeah, depending on the circuit you're at, you're going to lose 20 to 30 seconds in total coming through the pits. And that's if everything goes well.
Some changes between people that have been on and off as it's gone. The stats that I can see here now, with the arrows up or down, is that places gained and lost? That's what you referred to earlier on, yeah?
That's their position changes. I assume the stewards don't care about track limits today at Silverstone, which is just like any other race. Some days they'll care about it, some days they won't. But Buck was definitely all 4 wheels off the circuit then.
Well, just pointing out on this one here, the rules were cornering only, I think. But I think there was a setting for relax. I'm not going to tab out because the screen will go from that one there. But the rules on the tournament site for what we did there, and we did, again, enough to allow people to play. On this one.
I mean, track limits and consistency is a topic that's never going to go away in F1.
On his telemetry...
Yeah?
Sorry,
what are we saying?
Race control, prog spawn, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. On Buck's telemetry thing, it flashed up a picture of a wrench. Was that like an alert that you're travelling near the pit stop, or was it you need to? Because it's gone off now.
I think it's you need to come in.
Yeah, it's not stayed on, so I'll keep an eye on that one for that one there. On Twitch chat, Gumpster is saying, John's knowledge of F1 is incredible, almost as good as my tennis knowledge.
I don't know if anybody knows that Gump watches tennis. He doesn't talk about it very often. Not
very often. Almost as often he doesn't talk about Coldplay.
So we now have 2 drivers that have been a little bit naughty and have had the wrist slaps by the stewards. So we got Prog and DMC. It didn't see DMC's penalty. Prog's 3 seconds will be added on after the race.
Right, so that happens on the final leaderboard for me.
So he needs to make sure that he is at least 3 seconds ahead of the person behind him. Otherwise, he will just get demoted down once we see the final classification.
Right.
I am amazed that Buck has still got any grip on these tyres.
He's going past again.
What? Is he? I don't know his plan here. He has to come in for that one stop at some point.
I'm just trying to check on the graphics. It does look like, if I look at other people, I can make out more detail on the wheel. So if that's a representation, it might just be the fact that I'm old and blind as a bat. But it looks to me, when I look at his frontage, his wheels seem smoother than, say, when I look at the 2002 Renault Clio, for example. The 2002 Renault Clio.
It might just be that he's really managing his tyre as well.
Yeah.
Apart from the back markers, he is in clean air, so he's not having to fight against the dirty air coming off the car in front. So he may just be getting really, really lucky. Incidentally, checking back on those penalties,
yes.
DMC's penalty is a 3-second time penalty as well.
Right.
So we didn't see that. That was right back at the start.
Ah, right. DMC in the pit now as well. So where we've seen time changes and place changes, at this stage of the game, it'll usually be more due towards pits and making up time. Making up time probably isn't the right words, is it, for that one there? What is it? What is it you'd refer to as? Because you're not making up time. It's
In what sense?
Well, as you said to me, it's never really crossed my mind before, not knowing about the racing. Obviously, I know that people have gone into pit stop, but I wondered is that deducted or not. Obviously, it isn't, but it's just it's another thing for people to keep in their head. I just don't.
Just
much
jump
more
up
than
to Buck a second.
Oh, jump up to Buck. Oh, he's in the pit finally.
He's finally come into the pit. So let's just keep an eye on this stop.
Yeah.
So he managed to go 16 laps on those tyres.
Excellent.
Okay. So him and DMC are the only ones to go onto the soft tyres for the second part of the race.
Okay, so explain. I mean, obviously, I understand in a vague sense about different tyres suit different things. Since I've set it as clear, dry weather throughout for this one, just to make certain people playing in there, what's the benefit on changing different types of tyres?
So Pirelli have designed, again, or instructed to contractually, multiple tyre compounds that start from pretty much cheese, like really, really soft tyres, through to the hard tyres. Now to us, excuse me, if you were to try and poke or scratch those tyres, to the touch you probably wouldn't notice much difference. And of course, F1 tyres are slick, they're completely smooth, intention being to get as much track contact with those tyres as possible.
Yeah.
So Buck's now opted for one of the softer tyres that Pirelli bring. It will give him more grip, he'll be faster, but it's going to deteriorate quicker. So he's pushed his first stint longer, so he doesn't have to do as many laps on this softer tyre.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be faster than the other cars on that. on that tyre. So if he can eke this out to the end of the race now,
yeah,
which he's got to do another 9 laps on that soft tyre, he's just going to keep constantly pulling away now for the rest of the race. As long as he can manage the tyres.
And forgive me for absolutely asking a question that I'm assuming not even a 5-year-old would ask. We've done the qualifying thing with the times for that bit there. When it comes to finishing a race in a lap session like this, it is purely your finishing position plus any penalties applied, yes?
Yes.
Cool. Again, it's just me not knowing those things there. It's when you look at things suddenly turn up and people zip around leaderboards, I'm like, why has that happened?
Yeah,
what is this for?
It's a simple first across the line. There are some bonus points available for things like fastest lap. So what you'll sometimes see, I don't think it's in the game, but in the real season.
In the real season.
So what you'll sometimes see is if a driver knows they're not going to do too well on position and they've got the tyres left over, they'll whack a new set of tyres on and try and go for that fastest lap point as well.
Right,
but we're not,
just
obviously
to
not
try
going
and
to see
drive
that in the game version. So Buck's now pulled away another second lead from Zay. So absolutely flying now. Nobody ahead of him. The odd back marker.
Is that going to be? I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, he was outstanding during the qualifying and was first in the 2 qualifying races that we did from that bit there. So, and again, kind of hobbled by the fact that his position on the qualifying grid was then dictated for random when we went into this one. But he's kept his level of skill up. There's me sounding like I know what I'm talking about.
As he flashes up there, he's just got the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:28.8.
There we are.
So
and the nearest one, 1:29.164 from Zay beyond that.
Yeah, that first stint's paid off for him.
Yeah.
He built up the lead, as Lewis said in chat. He managed to build up about a 37-second lead, so the pit stop didn't impact his position. He knew he was safe to go in.
That's absolutely outstanding from that bit. I can hear the admiration in your voice from this. Either that or you've actually stuffed one too many nuggies in. I can't quite tell.
I've not eaten my nuggies yet.
Don't say that out loud, because if those lot know about that, they're going to start turning that into a meme as well. So
they're way too busy. They will get eaten. Let's have a look at Brady, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
So Brady must have had an early pit for some reason. I don't know if he had an issue near to the start, but he's now 13 laps on these medium tyres.
Yep. And he's moved up over 5 places from that.
He may have to pit again before the end of the race on those tyres.
Right. Yeah, let's have a look at his device there.
So if you think all of the others started to pit between laps 11 to 14,
of course,
to get their set of tyres in. So he's had an early pit. He's then done the same number of laps again. So he may start to struggle with those, but he could do the same as Buck, albeit a little bit later.
Push it.
He could dive into the pits, put some softs on. What's his gap at the moment?
His gap at the moment is listed. We're looking at Brady, 4:397.
And Magico's only 0.9 seconds behind him. So actually, if Brady pitted right now, he would probably come out just ahead of Jin in 17th. So unless he wants to really punish himself, then he's going to have to stay out and try and get those tyres to the end.
Just to let people know as well, at EPIC.LAN, there's some warm-up games from Codenames going on in the Tabletop Board Games channel with Habs. I'll talk more about Tabletop another time, I'm far too invested in this. But we're going to be doing some point scoring for that game a little later on, probably from about 1:45 onwards, so more big game points available. And he hasn't gone for that pit there.
No, I don't think he can afford to.
Mm-hmm. He wants to edge out that other one there.
He's just got to, like I say, nurse these home and hope he can finish the race on those tyres. But he's now done 15 laps on that set.
Well, just to remind people as well, this fun tournament, EPIC33, is sponsored by Logitech G. They provided the absolutely fantastic G923 proper wheel and pedal set. It's suitable for PC and console, so it's useful for everything. You went, ooh. Have you got a box with you?
No, I don't know what Lindy did, but Lindy's now picked up a 10-second time penalty.
Ooh. We'll have to ask.
Which
that would have quite a big impact on the. That might push down below Jin. No, I can't see. On the
no, it won't go that far. No. It will take him down. Again, depends what happens over the next 4 laps, but I think it's going to take him down to somewhere around 10th or 11th, so around where Mr. Fox and Magico are. Unless, of course, he can get ahead by 10 seconds to cancel out that penalty. Prog picked up another penalty at some point as well. He's now got a second... he's coming in. Has he got to serve this penalty then? Take a look at
Prog.
Just jump down to Lindy for a second.
Jump down to Lindy, sorry, 7. Yeah. Lindy's coming in
I've got
there.
a feeling that because it's a 10-second penalty, somebody else has just had the wrist slap, Smithy.
That's Smithy.
I think he's got to serve this penalty in the pit lane.
So what's the surface penalty? What type of penalty does that mean?
Right, so if you look now, they can't touch that car for 10 seconds. So instead of the time being added on at the end, now they're changing the tyres.
They do it then.
And he's putting a new wing on as well. He's given up at this point. He's going to come out so far down because it's not just the 10 second of the penalty that he's just had applied. It's the extra time in the pit lane as well.
Got it. And the thing is, it's for me saying this is the speed of the things like that. And you said earlier on, it's not just about the car. One thing that people like layperson like me don't understand and don't recognise is it's not just the person in the car that's responsible for the speed. It's your pit crew as well.
Yes. There's entire races won and lost just in the pit lane.
Yeah.
You'll see the pit crews constantly practicing those stops. Back at the garage, every day of the race. They will just over and over again, so the muscle memory is there to get those tyres on and off quickly.
That is absolutely
But that was
stunning.
quite a long stop. Not only did he get a fresh set of tyres, but he got a new front wing as well, which added to the time. And he only served 5 seconds of his 10 penalty. So it looks like he's had 2 5-second penalties applied. So he's still got 5 to add on at the end of the race as well.
Grief. But again...
But a few people who've been naughty now, though. We've got 4 people with penalties to be applied.
Does that happen in real races? I mean, obviously we're doing this as a fun one from this one here. Do people sometimes push the boundaries? I mean, obviously in the real sport, there's more rules that are observed than the relaxed rule set we've put in on this one. But do you see that type of play?
The EPIC crew here's got an unusually high number of penalties. But yeah, and as I was saying earlier, things like track limits seems to be the main area of inconsistency around penalties at the moment. Obviously, if you cause damage or you obstruct people during qualifying or you any sort of safety breaches, so things like speeding in the pit lane, they're very, very quick to hand the smackdown for that.
So, Twitch chat, you've been watching the races as it's been going on for now. Is there a I know you've been cheering on your own people. You can only see what we can see on this bit here. But are there any standout drivers for you, Twitch chat, that you've seen from these ones here? John, from your view, obviously you've been spectating on that bit as well and hinting which ones I can take a look at. What do you think? Any particular? Obviously, we're very impressed with Buck, but it's
we've been spending most of the time watching Buck. We should maybe take a look at Zay. Zay's gaining on Buck, so he's putting in some clean laps at the moment. He's got that gap down to about 5.6 seconds.
Yeah.
Again, just pushing the limits. The track should be where those white lines are. Get all 4 wheels over there. This is my favourite part of Silverstone, by the way. If we're looking at Zay at the moment. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Chapel no longer exists to say, but the complex he was going through there. Is
there something there, really?
No, it's called. There's 2 corners there, Maggots and Beckett's, that create one of the most technical flowing sections in F1 circuits around the world. Literally, it's our place to sit whenever we go and watch the live races because the skill the drivers need to get around that little S shape. Almost flat out as well. Amazing to see. And also being a little bit cheeky. If you sit in the grandstand there, you can see across to the loop section in the middle of the track. So you get to see the cars passing twice.
And
it's covered.
There's even min-maxing for the audience, not just the car, the team, the designers. My God.
It is a great place to sit.
Rye said, Gumps has let us know that Rye says that Zay is incredible in F1, so Buck may have a tough time on this bit here. So it looks like Zay does a lot of the racing for this.
Yeah, but he's not going to make 5.5 seconds up in 2 laps.
2 laps.
There's just, unless Buck makes a huge mistake somewhere.
Yeah.
I think the top 5 is certainly set at this point.
It's still impressive seeing people jumping in and doing this. It's been entertaining for me to watch, again, as someone who doesn't know about this, and actually it's strange. I know it's been over an hour, but it doesn't feel like any time's passed while we've been chatting and watching this.
I don't know if you noticed that, but Zay is repeatedly cutting that corner and taking advantage of that rule not being strictly applied. He is taking a huge chunk out when he comes round to that chapel corner before hitting the hanger straight. Let's see if he does it again. If you switch to his TV pod view again.
Okay, so TV pod view. So I'm on Zay and camera type TV pod. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if he does this again.
Yes, we know we like Dave Marr and the 2002 Renault Clio there, Tom.
Right, as it comes round.
We set it as relaxed corner cutting because of it being fun tournament for all.
Just watch now. So he's coming down the Wellington Straight at the moment into the Luffield complex. Again, really good place to sit here, that grandstand. That's where I burnt myself, actually. I ended up going to the medical centre just in between those stands.
Sunburn
right, hits Cops. Hey.
Oh. There we go.
No, not that one. I've seen him doing that all the way through. That one's not as cheeky. In through Maggots and Beckett. Is he going to do it again here now as we come round to Chapel? Right. No, he didn't do it that time. The last 2 laps, he's held left there, and he's gone to the left of the DRS board each time. And just say, taking a huge chunk out of that corner. That if this was the real race, if it was an accident, he might get away with it, especially if he didn't gain any positions from it. But yeah, I think he was being a little bit cheeky on that one because of the rule set. But it's not helped him. We're coming around to the last lap.
Yeah.
We may as well go back to Buck, watch him finish, hopefully cross the line in first place, unless he has a massive spin now. I do think this is in the bag. So he's now in the little fan zone section in the middle of the circuit. Really, really fast straight here coming down Wellington again.
That's where you show off, I say.
Home of the BRDC there on the right, where all the ex-drivers get to sit and watch in a very funky cylindrical building. You see, we're on different views at the moment, but
sorry,
just
up
there on the right.
There, my fault.
No, it's fine. And up past the old pits. Again, a little bit of cheating there as he comes round Cops. Left, right, take a little bit of curb left again.
He can afford to be.
No, he's fine. He's keeping at least 2 wheels on the track. Yep. Nice and fast down Hanger Straight into Stowe. Nice place for photos as well at Stowe, if you've got a fast enough lens. Coming up past the pit lane entry into Club Corner. This is where fans would be cheering or queuing up by the gates, ready to get onto the podium. He's taking it nice and steady now. He doesn't want a last-minute spin. As he crosses the line in first place to Buck.
Excellent.
5.4 seconds behind was Zay. A massive 31 seconds behind. So at the moment, Bubbly Biscuit is literally only coming down the Hanger Straight. That's how far the gap was between second and third place.
Wow.
And then it's another 17 seconds behind that for Marr. So the Blackout Gaming guys really showing us how F1 2020 is played.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that. So as I look at my stats on this one here, it should show it in this way with the... I need to see what the actual leaderboard time is. Does any of these show the final things on this? Because I can just see that they finished, but I'll get it when everyone else finishes.
The ones that are getting the checkered flag now, they can't physically get over the line in the time that's remaining anyway.
Yeah.
So it's already sort of finished them.
Excellent.
Or they've given up.
That's fine. Well, I will just. It's very easy. It's very easy for me to say, congratulations, Buck. There, Buck. You're the winner of the Logitech G923 set.
We actually have it here at LAN, by the way.
Oh yes, you'll be able to take it away.
We brought it with us. Yeah.
So yeah, I will give you a shout to head on over to speak to the desk a little later on. But well done for that.
We'll get a socially distanced photo taken by Hyde in front of me.
So many of it. Oh, that's the best thing there, being able to see people have their prize then and there.
And we've got 2 different versions that he can pick from. Obviously, he's playing on PC, so both are PC compatible. Yep. But Logitech kindly sent us both the PlayStation and Xbox versions, so they have the PS4 buttons on PlayStation. There. You can. But from a PC point of view, it's a USB device. It's just whichever controller buttons you're used to.
No, absolutely fantastic for that one there. And well done for everyone who joined in, whether it was for fun, whether it's because it's your favourite game, whether you were going for a prize, whether you were just wanting to play with a group of people. And again, it's always nice when we get people who've been in all the different things we do there as well, joining in, and they might find a bit more about games that they might enjoy on the casual side in between. So thank you very much for that. That's the final score.
Final positions there.
I'll post it over in the channel in a moment as well for people to see.
And Buck got the fastest lap as well with 1:28.8. So had that been a real race, that would have been an extra point for him as well. And bragging rights, of course, for getting the fastest lap.
Excellent. Well, John, thank you so much for that today. It's been, again, for me, someone who doesn't know anything about this, listening to you, providing information to me and to our watchers about this here, I've thoroughly enjoyed doing that. It's something that I will still be awful at playing, but do you know what? I might just keep my eye on a few events like this. And of course, thank you to our sponsors, Logitech. Do you have anything to add, Mr. John?
No, just good race for everyone involved. A couple of people that need the wrist slapping for. It looked like it was corner limits that some people were getting punished for. And as Maru said in chat, we could have put strict limits on, but it's a fun tournament, so everybody's got the opportunity to push those limits in the same way and fairly. I'm sure there'll be some purists that go, well, it's not real racing, but congrats to everyone taking part.
Absolutely.
And yeah, again, thanks to Logitech for providing the prize for that one, and Intel and Overclockers for looking after us for the whole event as well.
Yes, brilliant. And again, thank you very much, everyone here. We're going to go and head off and leave you with some more content after this here. Join us for, well, I'm back at 3, well, I'm not back at 3 p.m. actually. It'll be Stephen Shu doing the Fall Guys Fun Tournament. I'll be in the background dealing with things on there. So plenty more content to come from EPIC33 throughout the event. Congratulations once more to everyone, and well done again to Buck. Thank you for your time there, John. Thank you to Logitech and Intel, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.